So hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode. Just completely forgot to do a sync clap on that last one, so the audio is going to be all over the gaff. So yeah, today we're going to be doing, well I say today, tonight, because currently 10:34, pretty tired to be honest. Yeah, going to start the video project on the Apex M2. So basically the car stands at the moment, it's more or less completely stock, all by a set of Pro Tracks and two-way adjustable JRZ. Pro Tracks at the moment we're running are the 19s, 275, 35, 19, and the 265 or 255 front, which are currently on our car all the time as a sort of everyday tyre, which will go over to the wet only tyre. So the deal with the M2 is it's going to be a little ongoing project to kind of like a really nice club sport type build. Sorry, excuse me. It's going to be like a nice club sport type build. So we're going to go carbon front splitter from the guys over at Carbon Fiber Dynamics. We've got a GTS style spoiler to go on as well. Going to try and see if we can do something with Miltech with the exhaust as well. Even though this car does sound pretty good stock, I'd like it to give it the same kind of burble as you see some of the old M2s. Obviously this is a N55 engine, so there's that. So yeah, we've got like a nice little project we want to do. Half cage that will come in from Stylus. We've got a few other bits and pieces that are going to be nice. So today mainly focusing on suspension, because Eric over at JRZ has managed to fit us in with our suspension rebuild, which we're going to be changing over to exactly the same on the M4, which will be three-way adjustable, well, high-low rebound and height obviously. We've got our different spring rates, so spoke to Team Schirmer about them. So they're the spring rates we're going to be running. I'm not going to go through them just yet. We'll wait until it's all set up and I know that they're actually perfect for the car before we go into it. Obviously I trust Tom, so I know they're going to be pretty good. So let's go over to some of the other suspension stuff that we're going to be running. First we'll just start with the wheels. This is a Pro Track 18-inch. Super light. We've had these powder coated in a little bit of a different colour to match the stickers and match the different kind of setup we're going to run. ET25 on these, I believe. Let me just double check. It's been a while. Yeah, I think it's ET25 10J. So yeah, they're like a matte finish. It's quite nice. That was the guys over at Thermatech that done that for us. So they're going to be our dry wheels with AR1s fitted, with 295 rear, 265 front. Maybe something different at the moment, because obviously I'm not sure if everyone knows at the moment about it should be common knowledge, Suez Canal boat incident decided to cause massive delays on some tyre shipping. So there's that. So yeah, as you can see at the moment, all stock arms fitted. I don't know if you're going to be able to see too well in the dark. We've got slightly different spring rates that are fitted currently. Obviously all the adjusters and stuff are a little bit seized up by now. The suspension's actually been on the car for a long time. As you can see, it's still got the rubber bushings on the bottom and not gone over to Uniball. Let me just grab a light, because this is going to be terrible. Where's Sergi put my torch? There we go. So, yeah, all stock bushings, so stock rubber bushings. All OEM at the moment. It's all a bit tired. Drive shafts again, they're not too bad at the moment. It's not too sloppy in there. Not too much movement in the diff either, which is cool. Yeah, diff OEM diff bushings as well, as you can see in there. So everything is as it is at the moment. Got a little leak there as well, which we're going to sort that out when it's all apart. On the front, again, all the arms OEM. This one is fairly new, so this is a new bushing. Rubber bushings on the front, caster arm. Same on the other side. Again, this arm's fairly new as well. This side mostly was replaced after the accident last year anyway. You can see the JRZ looks a little bit tired now. It's been on here for 3 years, I believe now. So yeah, Sergi just started stripping this front one as well, by the way. So if you see anything hanging off, it's not how we run it. So yeah, basically going over to the suspension that we're going to be changing to. So we've got the small kinematics kit from Schirmer, so from Team Schirmer parts, which link will be down in the description. So we have the adjustable tow arm with the uniball ends. That replaces this arm here, which is the tow arm. Obviously gets rid of this rubber bushing and gets rid of this uniball on this end. I say uniball, it's a ball bushing. Now, one thing that you need to be careful of with these, if you do buy these, is there's different size shims. As you can see, there's different thickness. Let me put these next to each other. Now, you need to be careful which way around you fit these, because a lot of people are mixing these up and they're not going in the right way. I've seen a few people with them like that. Obviously, you can buy all the Schirmer parts now online, so it's a little bit tricky if you don't know what you're doing as such. So obviously these arms go in and these spacers will sit in the end of the uniballs, like so, and then the arm will bolt in. Now obviously you can see there's a big difference there. Just make sure that you get these in the right way. Now the smaller bearing goes on the smaller sleeve goes on the bottom, bigger sleeve on the top. This is all in aid of roll centre correction. Now, I won't go in too in depth with roll centre correction because it's kind of a little bit more of an in-depth conversation, let's put it that way. So maybe we'll cover a different video on that. So it's the same on the other side, small collar, big collar. So yeah, that's the tow arms. Now, this nice bit of kit is the new Diff Carrier. This is, I believe it is, obviously it's billet. It's a proper nice bit of kit. You don't even need to go too close to the camera to see that. You have these bearings, these new bushings, which are all solid, obviously. This one obviously off center. This one not off center. These are all solid bearings. So obviously it goes away from the rubber bushing. Rubber bushing, as you know, doesn't really, it's great for the road, dampens the noise, gives you a nice little soft take up of drive, I take it. But overall, on the track, you don't really need to worry about that. It's all about keeping everything nice and tight and everything else. So obviously, when you lower the car, this is one of the main points of this eccentric bearing, this eccentric bushing. When you lower the car, obviously the drive shafts will sit at an obscure angle. So the drive shafts will be sitting more up here. So obviously your CV joints are going to be sitting at this angle to start with. Now the whole point of the eccentric bearings is that you lift, grab the torch again, is that you lift the diff. Essentially you lift the diff. Some people install them here, some people install them here, but either way the thing is the same. You lift the diff up, so it pushes the diff up, which then raises the drive shaft up. So when you lower the car, you don't have any issues with the drive shaft sitting at a stupid angle, causing premature wear of CV joints, prop shaft bearings, everything, all of that kind of thing. So that's where these sit. Now, another one a lot of people make the mistake of is these are interference fit. So there's no like, normally there's no securing bolts or anything that hold these in. Obviously it's a bushing, it's interference fit. So what you need to make sure you do is the grub screws that are supplied, they go in certain places with certain bearings. Make sure that they're done properly. So you need to drill through the casing. So essentially ignore the demonstration. I'm just going to do it demonstrate on this. So if say this is where the bushing would press into, say this was all hollow, the bearing would press in, you then drill through, but you need to measure how far you need to drill through, because this would need to go through the bracket and just into the bearing. So you'd need to just indent the bearing for the grub screw to go through and hold it. So that's to make sure that the bearing doesn't, over time and over all the heat and stress is put through, that it doesn't twist, doesn't move, doesn't come out backwards and forwards, to keep it secure. And it's not the only one that covers. So you have this bearing as well. So this is a uniball inside a solid bushing. This is for on the subframe. So for this bottom arm, the spring carrier, or it's the whole lower arm, this bearing presses in as well. And again, you do the same. You drill through and you put a grub screw in to make sure that this doesn't twist, move out of any way, shape or form, because obviously they put through quite a lot of stress. Then we move over to this bearing, this bushing. Again, you can see it's off center. This needs to go in the right way. So this is for the hub here, other side. there's a certain angle that this will go in. I need to double check because off the top of my head I can't really remember which way it goes, but it's important that this is pressed in the right way. If it's not, then your geometry is going to be all over the place and it's going to be pretty difficult to make sure everything's aligned up and everything's all good. So yeah, with the Diff lift kit you get a pack of all the bolts, all the washers, everything that fits, and you also get the instructions as well. So that's all pretty straightforward. Once it's all out, we'll cover a video. I think actually we've already done a video on the M4 when we fitted this in the winter, so that's over on Misha's channel. So I'll drop the description in the video. Let's move on to the front quickly before we go, because this video is getting on a little bit. So these are the front caster arm bushings. Nice and solid, no rubber, uniball inside there with obviously the two collars in as well. So these go into this arm here, this one. So obviously this arm drops out, you press this bearing out, and then these bushings go in. Now they're not eccentric, so they'll go in flat and just obviously make sure that the number on the bearing is readable to stuff and whatever else. So that needs to make sure that's readable. But yeah, obviously that is there to get rid of this horrible rubber bushing which you get movement in and flexing. I can't really do it by hand with one hand anyway, but after a while you do get a lot of flex in these OEM rubber bushings which you want to try and eliminate. So yeah, the small kinematics is just basically to try and roll center correct the rear a little bit and obviously supply that added security of a solid bearing instead of a rubber bushing. So yeah, that's basically the small kinematics kit that we're going to be running on the M2 and why we're going to be running it. This does tighten the car up a hell of a lot. The M4, if anyone's watching has driven our M4, and as you've probably seen I've driven it quite a lot, the car feels amazing. For what it is so different compared to a stock F80 or an F82. It's really insane, to be fair. It's completely transforms it. Along with the right spring rates and the correct alignment, it is mega. So yeah, not really much else that I'm going to bore you with now, because I kind of want to crack on, take all the dampers off because they're going to JRZ in the morning. Big Mike in there sitting down, you can just about see him. He's going to be taking the dampers there for us super early so they can get cracking with them. Again, massive thank you to JRZ as well for that. They've squeezed us in last second, coming through with them partnership benefits as such. So yeah, stay tuned for more updates on the M2. I think Misha's going to be covering it as well. So again, keep tuned on his channel. I think Robert's going to come and get involved at some point as well. He's quite keen on this project. One other thing as well, this car has a sunroof, which we've never been fans of sunroofs on track cars. Obvious reasons. If it ever did roll for any reason, then sunroof, not great. So we're going to be taking the roof off and we're going to be putting a carbon roof skin on, which not only will it look really cool, obviously it has the benefits, a big weight loss because the sunroof mechanism and everything, all the wiring to it will be gone. Carbon roof, lower centre of gravity essentially. So yeah, it's pretty cool that we'll be getting involved with some of this stuff. But again, it'll be a rolling project, so stay tuned. Keep your eyes peeled on mine and Misha's channel, probably Robert's channel as well. We'll probably do a quick overview when we're doing stuff. And yeah, that's it really. So thank you for watching. If you stuck it out to the end, probably a little bit boring for some people. Technical overview, kind of a start to what we're doing, but it is what it is. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.